happens. Oh, there we go. So we've been recorded now.
Yeah, I'm going to record it because so many people said they can't get it, and I should send a recording, and we never record it. So today we will.
We've got to be careful what we say now. So all of the people in the Modern Wealthy group have access to these 2 live calls on the training calendar. All the calls on the training calendar happen on Zoom. All right, so it's something that should you decide to come in and take up the guided membership, where you get the support and your handheld and the coaching and everything else you need to actually get the business over the finish line and launched. You have access to 2 calls, and they're worth jumping on. Actually, one of them is, it just happens once a month. It's called the Visionary Call, and Stuart, who's the guy that you're familiar with from the videos, the Fast Start videos, he's one of the founders of the company. He's been doing this for around about 15 years, I think, since something like 2007, 2008, and he's a legend in the online business space because he's just made so much money, and we're all here learning from him. He's my mentor, he's Mitch's mentor. You're now learning from him, and he actually comes out on this monthly call called the Visionary Call, and you have access to this. This is kind of privileged access. It's only usually for sort of fully paid up members, but you can see the way that the company is developing. Their announcements about what's upcoming, what new stuff is happening, and then various members of the community, including some of the affiliates like Mitch and myself, we're maybe pulled out and recognized for achievements and so forth. So you have access to it's a really positive, fertile, uplifting, empowering environment that we're in now, right? This community is global. There's people all around the world, all ages, all backgrounds, all winning, right? All setting themselves up, for success in this online business space, including old timers like me and Mitch. So we're both 60. We're both 60 plus.
Same here.
And Nell Marie brings the whole. You bring the average age down, Nell Marie.
I'm 70. I don't know what the problem is.
Well, I'm 95. Definitely old.
Who's 95?
I am.
How do you put? Is that Azer?
Yes, Azer.
Yeah, pleased to meet you, sir. I know we're maybe going to connect a little bit later.
What do you eat? I'm going to start eating that.
I eat nothing. That's what I do.
Yeah, there are people that what do they call them? I know there are fruitarians and sort of.
No, I'm nothing like that. I do intermittent fasting, 16 hours.
I started that. Yeah. Well, let me put that correctly. My wife started that for me.
Great. Yeah.
I'm getting used to it. I had 2 problems. I thought a vegetable was something you gave to rabbits, and I just used to eat steaks and sausages and stuff all the time. And so now we've been doing it, and she's introducing all these different kinds of food that you can cook. Vegetables, they're usually called, and we have that with fish, but we only eat after 1 o'clock.
Yes.
And then we stop before 6.
Yeah, that's right.
After 2 or 3 weeks, the weight just started falling off.
It does. And if you keep it just to liquids during that time, it really does work. It works.
During which time? Time you can eat,
during the time during the time that you're fasting. If you just keep it, you can have liquids. But
yeah. Well, I can have water, I think, and tea. That's all I'm allowed.
That's about it.
But you get used to it. That's what I'm amazed at. So I've just been through a week and a half with. I am 29 in metric. Yeah, fair enough. I've just been through a week and a half of. Because Vicky's got friends here, and so I've been eating crisps and chocolate and everything that she doesn't lock down. But starting tomorrow, I'll be back on the wagon again for 2 weeks, because John's coming to visit with a couple of the other guys, and I don't want to be fat like I was last time John came. So
Yeah. Hey, talking about ages. When Ronald, I'm old enough to remember Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher in power on either sides of the Atlantic Ocean, and when it was Ronald Reagan's 70th birthday, he actually made a speech, and he said, "I don't consider this my 70th birthday. I prefer to regard it as the 49th anniversary of my 21st." Anyway, should we talk? Should we talk about something more serious or not? Or should we just keep it? Yeah. Should we just keep it light?
So let's do introductions. Some of you will know me, and some of you will know John, because that's the person that you saw their video before you clicked on. And so what we do is once a month or so, we have a call with people who've joined Modern Wealthy to see if we can answer questions or give them some help, as long as it's not too technical. Oh. Suddenly I'm broadcasting to myself here. Hang on. So as long as...
Yeah, no mic. You got no mic, Mitch. No, I can't. No, that's it.
About 2 years now, and John's been doing it for a bit longer. So John's the guy on my top left or top right, depending, and he'll do an introduction of himself now.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Thanks, Mitch. Yeah, I started on when was it? June. It was Monday, June the 1st, 2020. It was 2 or 3 months after lockdown, and I had a little woodworking business. I had a woodwork workshop out at the back of my house in Italy at the time, and I was making furniture for people. And lockdown just killed, so many businesses, so many people that were working for themselves. I think Mitch was in hospitality. He had his B&B in Portugal at the time, and obviously, no travel, no visitors, all of a sudden the money is just evaporating out of our bank accounts. So we had to find another way. And it did me a huge favor, actually, COVID, because I think it sort of gave me the time and space to actually consider and look around. And so I wasn't under pressure having to go to work and earn a crust. And we both, Mitch and I, we both discovered this training. And it's completely and utterly turned my life around 180 degrees. It feels like when you get this right, when you get the automated sales and marketing systems set up and firing on all cylinders so that they're profitable. Okay, Google owns YouTube, right? And both Mitch and I were advertising on YouTube. So Google is the tech behind our video campaigns on YouTube. Google's doing our work for us. It's figuring out who to put the advert in front of. It knows all of us. It knows so much about all of us. So we've got the power of Google's AI working for us, and we can just sit back and we can just let Google do its thing, find the right people. And we've had to do work up front. We set up the email sequences that go out, but it's all done on automation. Mitch and I don't actually have to show up. If somebody signs up on the landing page in Australia in the middle of the night when we're asleep, they still get the first video sent out automatically. They get a welcome, and they'll get a video the following day and the following day and so forth. And this is how I've got the sun, haven't I, blowing me out in the background? Yeah, this is how business works these days. We're able to tap into a global marketplace. Oh, who was that?
Who was that?
Nobody, you can turn your mic off and then they can shout as much as they like.
Yeah, so we're able to tap into a global marketplace using automated systems and enjoy what feels like early retirement to me lifestyle. So that's a little bit about me. Mitch and I are very happy to go into the dashboard and show you some of the other programs, because I think would you like to speak a little bit about Modern Wealthy and what it actually is? You talk about we the company have given you all the textbooks, Mitch. Would you like to talk a little bit about that and then see where it goes?
As John was saying, we've come along the same path as all of you folks, because we were doing whatever we were doing. As John says, I decided a good idea was I didn't want to work in London for a business anymore, and It was a business some of you might know called Liquid Telecom, and they just bought a company called Neotel in South Africa. And I was spending 2 weeks a month in South Africa and then flying back to the UK, and then 2 weeks a month in South Africa, flying back to the UK, which was fun for about 3 months. And then it really became a pain. And you can't plan anything, you can't do something different. So after a couple of years, I thought, okay, I'm going to sell the house in Putney. I'm going to take our money and come here to Portugal. I'm going to set up a bed and breakfast and a little cafe restaurant, because that'll be the life of Riley. And so that's what I decided to do. So we came over, we put the whole thing together. And as we started to get going, here arrived COVID. And it couldn't have come at a worse time for us, because we just spent everything we had on getting this place set up. And we had some debt, and now you're not allowed to have customers. It's funny when you look back on it, because first they said you can't have people in the bed and breakfast, and then a few weeks later you can't have people in the cafe. And you go, oh, that's a bit shit. And then after a month, you've got to pay all the bills, and we were paying staff and everything. After 3 months, we had to let everyone go. And it was quite a dire time, and I just didn't know what to do. And then that's where I saw a video of a guy called Mike, and I thought, okay, I'm going to do something. So I joined on this program. And I really struggled at first with the IT stuff and the connecting of things and all of that, but I persevered with it. And then I started, first of all, running ads to promote Modern Wealthy, and that's how I found some of you guys. But as soon as I got that, so that I got 2 or 3 members, I left that alone for a while, and I went and set up a good website for our guest house, because I thought, this COVID thing will pass, and I better make sure that I fill up the guest house, because I'm going to need to pay back some debts and stuff when it comes. And so I took all the learning from the Modern Wealthy and from Launchpad and created a website to get guests to come and book. And that's worked extremely well. We now do between 400 and 500 guest nights a year, which is so phenomenal that people started coming asking me, can I help them build their website? And that gave me the idea for my third site. I've set up a site that teaches people how to market their guest houses. And that's what I'm working on improving now. And that's, I'm a bit slow, as I say. So that's how it slowly dawned on me that I've got these 3 websites set up. And I'm just getting to the stage now where the 2 websites earn the same amount of money as the guest house. The difference is that I don't do much on the 2 websites, but the guest house, when we're full, I'm not full today because my wife's got friends here, but I'm up at 6 in the morning. I've got to go and make breakfast. Then you clean up from breakfast, and then you've got to go and make the rooms and do the beds and clean everything. Then you've got a couple of hours to yourself, and then guests are checking in, and you've got to cook dinner. So it's quite hard work, but the upside is we don't have anybody in the winter. It's a funny upside, but it is. From the middle of November, I've just got free time until about the middle of February. And that was nice. But what I've learned is I've got to carry on working through these courses and I want to build a 4th site. I need to replace all my income with income that I don't have to do anything. It sounds like I'm just going to lie about. You've got to spend an hour or 2 a day answering emails and stuff like that. But I want to get to that. So I think it'll take me about another year or so. But my ambition is when I get to 65 or 66, I think it'll be working the guest house and cooking breakfast and dinners will be something I want to cross off my to-do list. And then I just want to live on the money I'm earning from the work I'm doing on Launchpad. So that's a bit about my story and what I'm up to. And John's similar. I'm not going to say yours. I was about to tell your story, but why don't you tell your story? And then we can ask if anybody's got questions or something they want help with. Or
Yeah, well, I think what you've reminded me of is the book, The 4-Hour Work Week, written by Tim Ferriss. I don't know whether you guys on this call are familiar with this book, but it was actually written 15 years ago. There is absolutely nothing new about the idea of using automation and outsourcing to earn our income. It's not a new idea at all. It's just that a lot of people haven't cottoned onto it yet. And yeah, well, when I think about my work in particular, I was making wooden furniture, and it's the really fine sawdust that the dust collector and the extraction doesn't pick up. That's the stuff that damages your lungs. And so I was doing kind of life-threatening work, if you like. And I know there are a lot of guys, I'm 65 now, and I know there are guys, maybe if they're in the trades, they're doing physical work in their 50s and 60s, and it gets hard because, my sister's a gardener, she's in her 60s, and she's got all sorts of problems, trench foot, and I don't know what she's got, but she's in a terrible mess. We need a smarter way to earn. We just need a smarter way to earn. And it isn't new, and it's not a scam. It's real. It's very, very real. And both Mitch and I have learned the skills that we need in order to make this pay its way, And I think, broadly speaking, there are two skill sets that we learn. I know I'm straying off the subject, but that's just my mind wanders. I think I'll go off on tangents. But broadly speaking, you're going to learn about some of the technical setup. Okay, so we have to have a website, and we have to have a page where we drive traffic to, and that page is called a landing page, and that's connected to something called an autoresponder, which is where we gather our names and email addresses, and then we can nurture a relationship with the people in our list. Right, that's the architecture of a online business, basically. And although the language may sound odd, and it's all very unfamiliar at the moment, it's a journey. It's like learning how to drive a car or do anything. We're all capable of learning new skills. It's just that maybe some people, haven't maybe learned much later down the road. But even the technical stuff, I had all the technical stuff done for me. I paid to have it done. I didn't want to do it. So it's not even really an obstacle if you're, if you don't want to deal with that. But the far more important skill, I think, is that of influence. Obviously, we need to be making connections with people out there on the internet, and we need to be offering real value and solving problems and easing pain. Okay, this is what we do as marketers. And if we think about a business, any business, I know we might think that the business is in business to make a profit, but ultimately a business has to offer value in exchange for the money that it receives. And so businesses are in the business of providing solutions. And this is what we do. And if the person that I'm speaking to is anything like myself, and they're approaching retirement, and it's looking like there isn't going to be enough income to have a financially secure and a comfortable and maybe even a stylish retirement, then I've got a solution, right? Just to give you the idea of what I'm doing, the message I'm communicating, if you like. And it doesn't matter, what the problem is, whether it's a lack of income in later life, or whether it's a dog that barks at other dogs, or it doesn't matter what the problem is. With this Google AI now, we can put a solution in front of exactly the right person at exactly the right moment that they're looking to solve the problem. So I know it's not my story, but I apologize for that. But I just get so excited about this because when you understand this stuff, it just sets you up for a brand new life. That's the really cool part about this. I mean, I just play around these days. How many of these Zoom calls do we do a month, Mitch? Is it 4? We do one a week, don't we?
Yeah.
So that's 4 hours a month I do.
And some other little calls, because I was chatting to a guy today called Ben.
Yes.
Because he's one of those guys who sends me a lot of emails. So I end up chatting to him. And it's nice because he's finishing work and he's comfortable. he didn't need money per se, but what he's done is he's setting up a business to design T-shirts. And so I said to him, and I have a call, because that just seemed interesting, because it was just something different. And he draws little cartoons, and they're okay. He was showing me some of the cartoons, but he loves going to a place and say, this lady wants a cartoon for her husband's 60th. And so he draws a cartoon, a little caricature. And we were just thinking of all the different things he can do. And so there's some obvious ones, once he's got the T-shirt design thing going, he can then sell the T-shirts. Then we had the idea that he can then put that same design can go on coffee mugs, and you all seen the same age as me. If I say mouse mat, you know what I'm talking about. The bloody kids these days don't know what a mouse mat is. It's ridiculous. And then if he was thinking, he can even do bespoke stuff. So if a couple's having a special anniversary, he can go around their place and draw them. And you could just see he was thinking of all this stuff. But the key was he loves drawing. He loves drawing people. So he's setting up this little business, and he says he doesn't have to make a lot of money, but if he can earn, 700 or 800 or 1,000 a month profit after he's got it going, it'll make such a difference. But what was so nice is that he's doing something he wanted to do. He's been an accountant, he's been a salesman, he's been all these things. But since he was 20 something, he wanted to be a drawer. What do you call it? A cartoonist, a drawer, okay, a cartoonist. And now finally he's starting to do that. He's had 10 little orders. So we've made a video, and I'm going to send it out to all the members. So you might get that in the next couple of weeks. Because while he learns to build the website and everything, I said, let's make a video. We'll send it to everybody, and let's see if somebody wants a T-shirt. You know what I mean? But we're just doing stuff. And it's just, that's what's so nice about it. And then the other guy I'm chatting to is this teacher from Cape Town, and he's a retired headmaster. And he's got this idea to start a business that he's going to help working with parents who've got a problem kid. I don't know what a problem kid is, because I don't have kids. I think they're all a problem. But he's got so much experience from his 10 or 20 years, and he's been a headmaster for the last 10. And so he's got quite good credentials, and he's going to set up this site where he can coach parents. And he's got so much he can coach on, how to work harder at school, how to be cleverer, how to do this. But he's going to start with problem children. I don't know what it is, a problem child, but he's going to start with that and build his website around that. And so he's taking all the stuff he used to do, and he's using that to create a little business he's going to use to pop up his pension. He says his pension as an ex-South African headmaster isn't going to be great. He's got a little private pension as well, but he would like to have some more money. And so he's doing that. He's just taking his existing skills, and he's going to create this online. And what's nice about it is he says he can work with people anywhere in the world. That's what's so amazing. He'll put a thing out on YouTube, and he might get customers in America, France. He doesn't care. So those are two that I've just been talking to in the last couple of weeks. Which I thought was nice, just people taking their experience, turning it a little bit, and they're going to do something that helps them out. So we don't have an agenda clearly, John, because I've gone off.
That's right. Well, that's interesting, because I've got we'll ask questions in a second. I just want to tell you this, because these are a couple of quite unusual online businesses. There's one guy in North London, and he has an allotment, and he grows his own vegetables. And he's set up his own course. It's like a sort of a mentorship course where he jumps on. It's not fully automated, this business, but he's getting on calls with people that want to grow their own fruit and veg. And he's sold a course for just under £1,000 UK pounds. And I think he sold something like 8 or 9 of those in the first 6 weeks of his startup. So he's a very happy man. And there's a woman in Spain doing meditation with horses online. Don't ask me how she does that, but that's real. There are so many ideas that you could actually monetize these days.
You just got to find 100 or 150 people in the world who think what you're doing is so important and so cool. And that's it. That's, I remember listening to Stuart. It's on one of the introductory videos, and he talks about 1,000 people in the world. That's all you need. I mean, obviously, if you want to become a billionaire, then you've got to do more. But I'm like John. I'm just after earning a couple of grand a month, and that'll do me fine. And he says you just got to find 1,000 people in the whole world who think like you think, and that's the way this whole thing works. So it's fantastic. Sorry, John, I interrupted you a bit there.
No, that's all right. That's all right. I mean, we can open it up for questions. The other thing I thought we could do is go into screen share, and we can have a quick look at Modern Wealthy, which everybody should be familiar with here. But then we can also maybe have a look at Launchpad, because there are other ways and means of getting started. And with Launchpad, you get the checklist, you get the guidance, you get the live support on calls with experts, and so on and so forth. But if any of you folks here have got any questions, what's the way to go? You can either look, there's down the bottom of the computer, there's this raise hand thing in reactions, so you can do that, or you can maybe type something in chat. Just click on the chat bubble and type something in there, and we'll deal with all your inquiries on this, well, those that we can deal with. Okay, so there we go. Nell Marie, do you want to unmute yourself and come out?
Hi, thanks, John. I'm a little bit confused. I just want to understand exactly how do you make money out of the Launchpad, or are you using the Launchpad as a tool on your website?
Right. Okay. All right. Well, this is a good moment. If Mitch can allow me to share screen, please. What I'll do is I'll give you a very quick tour of the Launchpad on the dashboard.
Did that come up a thing to you?
There we go. We're in. That's it. Good. Okay. So you should be able to see my screen now. So obviously, you folks are in the Modern Wealthy program, which Mitch likens to the company giving you all the textbooks. All right. You've got all the information that you need in there, but you're not going to be held by the hand, and you haven't got access to experts, and you've not got the sort of checklist and the structured program, which is what Launchpad is all about. So let's just go in here and just have a very quick look. And so this is going to make the difference, I think. So this is like a curriculum, and all this Zoom stuff's in the way. Let's just go into. So there are 6 modules in Launchpad, rather like there are 6 videos in Modern Wealthy, but within each of the modules you've got 10 lessons. This is the 1,000 True Fans that Mitch was speaking about earlier on. So each of these is a lesson, and the way these work, if we go into lesson 1 in module 1, see you've got a video with Stuart, but you can see that underneath you've got action steps and reference links, and there's a study guide with each module with work to do in it, and you've got your action steps, and you can actually put these action steps in one place up here. Let's just if I just remove these, I'll show you. So this is empty now. This is my checklist, right? And if I come back here and I click on these action steps appear in the checklist, and as you go through the videos you can put all of your actions in one place, and once you've done the work, once you've actually done what's been asked of you, you will have an online business, right? And it'll be yours, and it could be an affiliate business, it might be an e-commerce business, you might be monetizing your own knowledge or skills or whatever it is that you want to monetize. Okay, so this essentially is the way that Launchpad works. You work through the individual lessons, there's work to do in the lessons, there's a checklist, you do the work, you build the business as you go, all right? And you also find in here, there's a training calendar, and so yeah, so on Thursdays, for example, there's this call, website and funnel setup. So when you get to the module where you're going to start working on your own website, and I think, Mitch, did you build your own website?
Yes.
Yeah, I did. I was 62 years old and I built my own website because I was held by the hand. I was told where to click. And if I ever had any problems, I've got this live call every week with an expert, which I can join. And just like we're doing now, you know, Michael can share his screen. He'll answer questions. He'll get you unstuck. He'll keep you moving forward. There's tech support, I think 5 days a week, if not 7. There's a community. You know, there are more training courses within the program that you might want to dive into. If you want to really specialize on your website, there's so much here that you cannot fail to get your business prepared and ready for launch and, you know, set off and running. Would you like to add something, Mitch?
Yeah, the thing that I always find interesting is I'm trying to click on your screen. How stupid am I?
Yeah, shall I stop sharing? You can share yours if you want to.
Now let's try and do that. Sorry, I'm still not very good at the computer stuff. Sorry to say. Let's go into here. What, 1 second. So I've got the same dashboard as John, because this is the dashboard you get when you join up to the Launchpad. But the bit that, you know, you go through the Launchpad course and they take you through it. The 2 things that I found the most useful, I'm doing them again now, is this 90-day challenge. But this thing here called Learning Paths. And I found it by accident because you see it in the beginning, but you forget about it. If you go down here, what they've done is they've gathered together all the best training that's on LinkedIn, and they've put it in one place. So if you're wondering about having an idea or how to set up online marketing or how to work Google, for example, you can just click here, and they've gone through LinkedIn, and I've got to put a password in, and they've pulled out the best courses and they put them in order. So here's essentials, here's doing Google ads, how to fix them, and then how to look at the reports that Google gives you. And that's just laid out, and that's just extra hours of courses. So once you've done the basic thing, you can come back. If you've got an area you're not sure of, or if you've got something that you didn't quite understand, you can just come back and do this training here, and they'll sort you out. So I found that very useful because, as I've said a couple of times, I'll stop saying it. I'm one of the slower ones on the groups, but I seem to be quite methodical. So if they talk too fast, I got to play the lessons back at a slower speed. That always helps. Or I jump in there and find out what I need. But with a bit of perseverance, I got it all right. And the good news is you only have to do the technical stuff once per website. And when it's working, it's working. And that's the beauty of it. I think that's the main thing. I know I came into it out of desperation, but I'm staying with it now that the guest house is booming, because I work hard in the guest house. Makes me sound so lazy, doesn't it? You know, it's a double-edged sword when you get the little email from booking.com to say, ding, you've sold a room. Vicky and I go and see, and the worst is the weekends, and we just dread August and September now, because we just know we're going to be full packed from about middle of August till about middle of October. You won't see me. I'll just be getting up every morning, and the guests are lovely. They really are, but they come for 2 nights, then they zoot off to somewhere else in Portugal, and you get a new one in, and you got to tell the story, and you clean the room. So that's my ambition. After 3 years, I want to be able to stop the guest house, but stay here. So that's not a huge ambition. I'm not going to conquer the world or buy a jet or something, but I want to carry on living in here in Portugal and not having to work so hard. So I said to Vicky, what we'll do is we'll close the rooms one at a time. So when I'm earning X, we'll close room 3, and when I'm earning Y, we'll close room 3 and 4. So eventually we'll just have one room open, and then maybe we just shut that. So that's where I'm headed. I've gone off piste again, John. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. So anyway, look, coming back to Nell Marie, and there's a question in chat as well about somebody that's thinking about the affiliate route. Yeah, I think what I mean, obviously, if you talk to 100 people, or ask 100 people, you'll get 100 different opinions, won't you? But I mean, I think reasonable advice would be, as far as the Launchpad is concerned, is to actually just go through the 60 lessons and don't do the work. Okay, and just get familiar with the journey, and then come back and start at video 1 in module 1, and click on those reference links and action steps underneath each of the videos, and start and commit to doing what is asked of you. All right, they're going to be exercises, there's going to be some self-discovery. The idea is you're going to set a business up that is in pretty much in alignment with who you are, your skill set, the way you want to spend your days. You don't have to be an influencer on Instagram. You don't even have to advertise. Actually, you don't even have to spend any money advertising. If you're prepared to generate content, that can be a blog. You can have your own. I mean, there are people who have YouTube channels and they use animation. You don't have to be a face on the internet. It's not necessary these days. And there are other
Google
so
ads.
and Google pay-per-click. They're just text
Google
ads. Yeah, they're just text ads. Yeah. So yeah, there are ways and means of generating business online these days. That one of those ways will suit your personality and your aims, I guess. But coming back to Nell Marie, do you want to just unmute? Because I'm not even sure if I can remember your question. Did we deal with it or not?
I'm still wondering how you make money.
Oh, how you make money? Oh, right. Okay. So right, good.
We
all right.
missed
That's
the
a good.
point entirely.
That's a good question. How do you make money? Yeah. Well, Mitch and Mitch has explained how, he's got 3 websites, right? So, he's got his B&B that he rents, right? He's got the other B&B owners that he helps get more customers. And then he's an affiliate, like as I am. So this education program has its own affiliate opportunity. You don't have to do it if you don't want to. It's not obligatory. But if we promote the education that we've been through, then we'll be paid commissions when people buy in to the training. Okay. So, and some of those commissions run into thousands of dollars. This is why people, there's one guy, Mike Jakes, he's the fella that Mitch came in through. I think in his first 2 years, he turned over something like $250,000.
It's such a clever system, because Stuart, as you've seen, Stuart's quite a young guy, travels around the world and so on. But he recruits people like me and John. And the people we talk to are so different to the people who would listen to Stuart. And there's young guys like Dan, a guy who rides motocross. He's bringing in people that are 23, 24, 25. So that's the model that I'm using on Modern Wealthy. So we run ads on Facebook and YouTube, and then you go through that whole link that I bombard you with. And then at some stage you think, yeah, this is actually something I could do. And then you join up. And it's when you go on to join Launchpad or something like that, then I will earn a commission from that. But if one of you does it, I don't get rich. I need quite a few of you people to do it. So that's how we make some money on Modern Wealthy. The guest house is different. The guest house advertises the guest house, and people have to come and stay for me to earn any income. So that's a slightly different model. The one that we started training people how to market their guest houses is the one that I want to replicate and do something else similar to that, because I built that one because I used all the training from here to build the website for our guest house. And I'll type it into the chat now, and you can have a look at it. It's www.evormont.com. So that's our website for our guest house. I think it's very cool. Let's see what you all think.
Yeah, and Nell Marie, I mean, so there are 60 lessons in those 6 modules, right? And it took me 5 months. I think Mitch ran about the same similar sort of period of time.
Yeah.
It took me 5 months from beginning to actually launching the business. I started on June the 1st. I launched the first advert in November of 2020. And that, that question, how do you earn money, online, is answered in those modules. It's quite it's obviously there are 60 lessons. It's quite a big subject. I'm not avoiding the issue. We let's think about money, right?
Yeah.
So if
Sorry,
go on, Mitch, do you want to say something?
Let me just jump to the third one. So I built that website, and so people said, can you help me with my website? And that's what got Vicky and I onto that. So we created a little training course that teaches people just how to market their bed and breakfast. Because what we learned is that when I was doing this stuff for Modern Wealthy, it's a very broad target audience. You're talking to anyone in the world who might want to have more money or a better lifestyle. When I do the work for the guest house site, it's so focused because I'm only targeting people who run a bed and breakfast. But more than that, I'm targeting people who've got small bed and breakfasts. And I can say to them exactly what their concerns are, because we were exactly that. So I've taken my experience of running this guest house, turned it into a course, and now people pay and they go on. But you learn as you go through the levels, because now I'm busy updating the whole thing to relaunch in November or December, because I've done some more courses, because the guys say that I was too cheap. And so we're going to do one where you can pay the most, and Vicky and I you fly us to your guest house, and we'll put in all your marketing systems with you right there and then. So, and the guy who's training says it's a funny one because you maybe sell one every 2 years, but it's so cool when you do, if you do. If someone's going to phone you up from America and pay you a couple of grand and fly you to America to set up his whole website, you go, that's the life, isn't it? And so that's the thing that I don't know if I'm answering your question yet, but I've taken my experience, turned that into an online system. The online system works. So now what happens is other guest house owners can see my ads. They can click and they can go and see the place at Evermont. They can see my sales figures and they think, oh, that's cool, I want that. Without me doing anything, they can join a basic course and they can download ebooks about how to do it. If they pay a bit more, they join the next level up and they get videos on how to do it. If they pay a bit more, then they can get 10 one-hour calls with me and Vicky helping them. But all of that's happening all the time. And we earn money from that website doing nothing. I mean, we're not doing nothing. It took us 3 or 4 months to get it up, and it's going to take us another 2 months to get the improvement up. But that's the point John was making. When it's done, it's done. Then you just maintain it, and the thing earns money for you. And that's the way this whole digital world works. And people of my age missed that boat, because when I started working, you got one job. Probably I remember when I started working the first time in London, and a man used to come around with a trolley and take the stuff out of your out tray and put it in his box and give you your stuff for your in tray. I don't know if you guys remember that. And that's how memos and stuff went around the office, in these little trolleys that were being pushed around. And kids these days, they don't understand that, and they don't realize, and it's a benefit for them, because they just think that you can build this online stuff and earn an income, and they do it. But the thing that they're lacking is the skill or the experience. So if you go on YouTube, I promise you, have a look at YouTube when we're finished. You can see the age divide. The youngsters are doing pranks, they're doing dancing videos, they're doing cool dressing and stuff like that, because they don't know anything. But if you go online and you say, I need help putting up a shed in the garden, the YouTube videos that come up will be from us, from what are we called? Boomers, I don't know, the older people, because we know stuff. and people are putting that knowledge online and earning money from it. And that, I guess, is what it's all about. So I got a bit excited there, John.
Yes, that's all right. That's allowed. That's allowed. We'll come to you in a second. Azza, we'll come to you in a second. I see you got your hand up. So yeah, Nell Marie. So I mean, there's e-commerce, right? Here's another one. This is another way you can earn money, right? So everything that Amazon sells comes with an affiliate link. And no doubt you've seen, you know, people unboxing the latest iPhone on YouTube. Okay, and there will be links in the description beneath that video. And if somebody clicks on that link and buys the iPhone from the link from Amazon, not only does that individual get a commission, but that individual gets a commission for everything else that's in the Amazon shopping basket at the time that product is bought. That's another way. There's a million ways. There are as many ways that you can earn money online as there probably are people setting themselves up in business online, is the truth of it. It's I think what happened. Yeah, go on.
Drop shipping. He's a South African guy, and he wanted to import. I don't know how you call it. My wife calls it a chimenea, and it's like a pot that you put a fire in. So in the evenings, if you're barbecuing or something, there we go. Warren knows what I'm talking about. Then people can sit around that. But his problem was he didn't want to. You know, that's a heavy thing. And so he thought, well, I can get them made somewhere else, because his idea was to make them in South Africa, but then shipping them around Europe and all the issues in South Africa, he was pulling his hair out. So he went and learned about a thing called drop shipping. So he's got some people in China to make them for him. And you can go on a site called Alibaba and see all the stuff that these guys do. And he found a site that would make these chimeneas exactly how he wanted them. He had to pay them to make, I think he started with 50. So they made 50 in China at Chinese prices. Now he's built a website. So when somebody orders a chimenea, the link goes through to the company in China and they ship it. And because they're a big company, they're shipping containers and on aircraft every day. And of course, the containers got shoes in it and plastic, and whatever people have bought goes into this container, and one goes to here, one goes to there, one goes there. So he's shipping these things. He's in South Africa. He's never seen one. He's never made one, and he's never had a warehouse of them. And I think that's called drop shipping. He's organized everything, and it's happening for him. And all he does is work online from South Africa. And I just thought that's brilliant. I haven't had an idea yet of what to do, but I think that's worthwhile.
Yeah. I think once you've watched the video, once you get familiar with Stuart and what he's talking about in the first video workshops that should have been mailed out to you, when you clicked on the ad, and subsequently when you get into these training courses, if you hang with Stuart for long enough, you will start to have sleepless nights, because you will see just so much opportunity. There's just this digital landscape will open up in front of you as you work through the course material, and you'll begin to see the magnitude of it. And there are many different ways. And in module 2 of the Launchpad in particular, there's a little bit of self-discovery. There's 1 or 2 practical exercises and tools in there that when you work through those, the idea is that these exercises are going to reveal the right business for you. Okay, something that you're going to feel in tune with and is ethical, and that you're going to be lit up by, and that it's about more than just the money. Okay. I don't know whether that answers your question, but we've got Azza with his hand up.
So many answers, Nell Marie. You've got one in there somewhere.
Yes.
Azza, what can we do for you, sir?
Yeah, I just wanted to ask about. Let me give you a little bit of context of where I am and sort of my little bit on the background. So, I've been in hospitality, or have been in hospitality since for the last 26, 27 years. Lost my business just before COVID. And it was a major player in London supplying hotels and restaurants. So it wasn't hotels and restaurants, but supplying. So based around my knowledge, and John talks about all the alignment in terms of your, so your values and your natural gifts. I'm targeting ex-restaurant owners or current restaurant owners who are struggling, and looking at reskilling and sort of re-educating. And I've signed up to the ambassador program as an affiliate. There's clearly, especially after COVID and everything that's happened, what's going on with cost of living at the moment in the UK, particularly this industry is suffering very, very badly. And they supported me at the time when I was building my business up, you know, and we were a major player in the UK supply industry for restaurants. So the point I'm making is that ultimately, if I'm you know, I'm going to be looking at the affiliate program and looking at, and I've heard a lot of people say you should pay for ads or you shouldn't pay for ads. It should be organic. It shouldn't be organic. I mean, what's your view on that? Because obviously I want to try to get this business off the ground as quickly as possible. I joined John Knows in June. I'm halfway through Launchpad. Launchpad for me, and I've taken on Gold also. So Launchpad, the way I do the Launchpad program is that I don't go through it right through it and then come back to it. I'm doing it step by step, doing all the bits and building the business up as I'm going through it. For me, that works. Everyone's different.
That's one that I can answer, and John will fix me if I get it wrong. It's a question of speed. It's a price speed equation. If you're in a hurry, then you should learn Facebook or Google or YouTube, because you can pay money and your ad gets put in front of people. If you're not in a hurry, or at the same time, and that's what I'm doing with the guest house training site now, is I advertised it for a while, but I realized it's hell of a hard to get in front of somebody who owns a guest house at the moment when they think they want help. So I put, I'm building it up organically. So I put posts out, and I've got about 980 followers now. And you put tips out and things like that. And slowly, it's starting to build up the number of followers. And once or twice a week, a post goes out. And all of the posts tell people they can click to find out more. And they go to a landing page, which tells them all about the courses and everything. And a couple of people have built up businesses that way. And Stuart built one up for his, just to prove the point, because he argues strongly in favor of paid for advertising. But he said, just to prove the point, he started in 2021, I think, doing a thing called van life.
Yes.
And, you know, he talks about it a lot on his training, but that's actually quite a good site now, because as he's been going through it, he's been adding things and reviews and purchasing stuff, and he's now putting courses on. You can join, you can become a member of Van Life and get all his emails if you want to. But he's done it organically. So he hasn't spent any money on advertising, but it's taken him nearly 3 years to get to where he is now. Okay.
It's interesting you say that, because I mean, my view is that the websites, I wanted to, for me, this is a movement. We're looking at a movement of these people who really need help in the industry. I mean, because I went through it, and I realized, actually, the question I had, I was asking myself, what the hell am I going to do? What, you know, 26 years only in the hospitality trade. I'm 57. I'm going to be retired. Well, I should be retiring in my 60s, which I'm not going to do. But effectively, financially, you know, it's a struggle. But ultimately, the way I see this is that the affiliate program is just one element of my revenue stream sitting on my website. So the idea is that the website itself will have its own training course, which is actually umbilical cording into the launch you. So mentally preparing them. I've done NLP and other sort of training courses in terms of coaching. So it's a 3-week program that I'm looking to do to reframe, recreate, and relaunch. Which relaunching means that they're ready to take on those people who haven't clicked on and taken the Modern Wealthy membership. I want to retarget them and get them to purchase this program that I've got, basically to look at their reframing and recreating and relaunching themselves, to be able to make a decision, basically, ultimately, to decide what they're going to do next. So that's one revenue stream. The other one I was thinking is product on demand, in terms of, again, looking at the branding side of things, you know, for me, I in my life, I ran a business which had over 2,500 different products. I'm not interested in holding stock or anything like that. So that's kind of where that sits. And then looking at banner advertising. So this is all passive low ticket items that I'm looking to add on to the website, so they generate themselves. And I want to focus purely on driving that footfall, whether it's somebody buying a product, wants to buy a book, for example. So affiliations into the certain books I want to promote also from Amazon. So the website's just not only a funnel for the affiliate program. It's a home. It's a place where people can say, okay, what resources can this website give me if I want to reskill? That's what I'm bringing that solution to them, because there's nothing out there that's actually shouting and looking after these people.
Now I've stumbled on that same set of thinking by accident, because one of the coaches said to me, because I had the idea for the guest house, and I said, it must teach people how to market their guest house. There should be a section where they can review products. There must be a section where they can look at the different booking platforms and all of that. And he said a funny thing to me that I'll always remember. He said, the only place where someone rides 2 horses at once is in a circus. So what you got to do is choose one and you set it up. So I set up the one training people how to build guest houses, how to build the website for their guest house, and that's working. And he's right, because now the other things are coming off it, because now people look at the website and say, do you build websites? So what I'm doing to add in November is a thing that says, if you want me to build your website, contact me, because I found a guy in Zambia who does the technical stuff for $1,000, and you can build a magnificent site. And then these little things, these offshoots are coming off it. And then I'm going to also be promoting Launchpad, because in the winter months, if you're a guest house owner, you've got nothing to do. And it's just money out all the time. So I'm going to have a section about different things you can do to earn income and downtime. So I think it's the same road that you're on. It's just
it is. It's
an ecosystem around your first idea.
Yeah, and for the people that are here, there's something that I've learned, actually, just a little bit of insight. I could be completely wrong, but this is the way I'm thinking anyway. So if you look at the way that Launchpad is and Modern Wealthy is and all the things that Stuart's offering, he's got low ticket, medium ticket, high ticket item. That's fairly obvious. I want to replicate. So that sits within that funnel that people are coming through. But I want to actually take the same format into my website. So there'll be low ticket, medium ticket, high ticket in my website, and through those channels they come into Modern Wealthy, where again there's low ticket, medium ticket, and high ticket. So it's that structure within a structure.
Lot of work to do.
Yeah, it is, but it's something that I'm quite passionate about, because I've spent so much time and invested so much money, and I'm these people, there are a lot of them are my friends, and they don't, I had 3,000 customers at one point. It was a 45 million pound business that I lost over 6 months. And
somewhere you've still got 3,000 customers.
Well, yeah, I do. I have to be very careful. GDPR doesn't allow me to contact them, so I've got to be very careful. But a lot of those customers that existed at that time don't exist anymore. Those restaurants are not there. Over 50% of them are gone. So I have a list, but I can't do anything with that list because the law prevents me from doing that. So I have to be careful.
The thing is that I chatted to, you're not going to be wealthy by Wednesday. That's
I get that. Yeah.
If you decided when you were 20 you want to learn about the internet world, you'd go to university for 4 years. And this is the same, except it's different. It's practical at the same time, and it's so much faster, because you go as fast as you want to go. Because if you want to, you can do an hour a week.
Yeah, the thing is that, look, my motivation isn't money, because I've been there, done that. It says what it says on the can. My motivation is and it comes off the back of me losing my business, is I lost my marriage also. So and I've been able to find somebody new in my life, and everything. She lives in Canada, and everything is now based around her, is based around that relationship. I ain't interested in money. I want to be mobile to be able to work from anywhere. That's ultimately what I want to be with her.
That's
basically.
brilliant. I need money.
know. Yeah, I need money to do it. That's it.
Yeah,
That's me done.
money won't solve all of your problems, but it will solve all of your money
Thank
problems.
you, Warren. I see that.
Yeah.
I was there a few months ago. Loved it.
Someone, I saw a nice thing. You sometimes see funny things on Facebook. Someone says, everyone tells you money doesn't buy you happiness. He says, I'd like to give it a go.
Anyway, thanks, guys.
Sorry to interject. We're going to have a load shedding coming up now.
Shame, man.
Nel Marie.
Have you got a question, Ray?
Huh?
Have you got
Load
a question?
shedding. All the power goes off. Boom.
Yeah,
boom.
you got something you want to ask before you get zapped?
Sorry.
Have you got a question before you get switched off?
Not really. Not at the moment. Like
Okay.
Nel Marie, I'm asking how do we get the money?
Yeah.
But I'm listening to all the answers, and it's making
For
sense.
me, it was a slow progression because I started in dire straits. So I on the 90-day video challenge, Caroline talks about spending about $5 a day, I think it was. And you learn all the stuff, you test it, and then you earn some money, and then the next month you can spend a bit more. So it took me 4 or 5 months before I could actually build it up because I didn't have cash to put into the thing. I had nothing.
Yeah, I think I must find something that can get rid of load shedding in South Africa. We'll make millions.
You will. I'll source them and send them to you if you find it. We'll go into partnership immediately.
If we could get rid of that,
Yeah.
we'll be well off in this country, I think. But anyway, thank you very much.
Cheers, Ray. Thanks for coming along.
Leave, yeah. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, shall I just share my screen again just for a second? I just want to show Azza this, right? I mean, this is probably a bit further down the line, but this is the Google Ads dashboard, all right? And so when we come in here, we can be very specific about who we put our message in front of, okay? And Google have got these ready-made audiences of people, and obviously you can overlay the audience with a geographical territory. You can target, a 20-mile radius of the center of London. You can target by province, by country. You can target globally. You can target globally with geographical exclusions. There's many different ways you can target. But when we're talking about the psychographics, in other words, what people either are interested in or believe, okay, we can come in here and we can find these audiences. And I was just, the restaurants, I can't sort of locate anything immediately, but I've got corporate event planning. And even if you can't find an audience, you can make an audience. Right. Okay, so you say, oh, what am I doing? Save it. Oh, I pushed the wrong button. I wanted to come out the screen share. I'll have to go back into that later. I'll probably buggered up one of my campaigns now. Yeah, so I think that the answer to your question, what do I do? Do I do organic or do I do paid traffic or whatever? It's where your ideal customer is hanging out. It's how do you reach that individual? And so, we can create an audience by websites that people visit. Right. We can create an audience by keywords. By using keywords.
What about sort of social media platforms? So if I look at restaurant owners and chefs who are restaurant owners,
yes,
they mainly are YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, yes, and actually LinkedIn. So yes, that's where they hang out. That's where they do a lot of their posting and messaging.
That's where I find all the bed and breakfast people, because there's 4 sites on YouTube, on Facebook for people who run and manage a bed and breakfast. Yeah. And so I just pop in there.
So the Google will, but from that list, there wasn't anything there that said catering or hospitality. There were no options there for that. So you can create it.
You can do website matches. So what are the big websites that people in your industry go to? See, that's what I mean, because there's in the bed and breakfast thing, there's 4 or 5 big websites. So I run the ads by saying I want to go to people who looked at this website. And I
Okay.
tell Google that. So
Okay.
somebody who goes in and looks at a website that deals with issues that are dealt with by people who own bed and breakfasts, Google says, okay, this person's done that. I'll play Mitch's ad, and it's cheaper. The ads are
Okay.
cheaper
Okay.
because there's
So
not
so
many
these
people in the world.
and these
wanting to do that.
these websites, obviously, that comes from the sort of understanding the profile of the customer avatar.
You
Yeah,
understand the catering business. You know what sites.
I do, and they are like there's catering.com, there's
Yeah.
there's the grocer, there's
Yes.
others that they're there.
So you can tell
yeah.
Google, play my ad to people who subscribe to, who have been to the grocer.
Yeah. Okay. I got it. Okay. Interesting. I think one of the things that I've also I'm discovering, and this is for everybody else to consider, I guess, is that I'm going into a niche of a niche. So, you know, hospitality is huge, catering is massive. So I'm going into specifically the independent restaurant sector for ex-restaurateurs or current restaurateurs who are struggling. So that's my niche of niche. But if things pick up, and I'm because ultimately what I'm targeting are business owners who've lost their business. That's what I'm ultimately targeting. So I can always expand that later on. I can expand that,
or it will expand itself.
or yeah, exactly, or else expand itself. Yeah.
You can, you do that with Google. There's, when you put up your sites, when you first put them up and test them, your any work you do, you can make it very focused, only these people. But you can click a little thing that says to Google or similar people.
Okay.
And then Google will find similar people.
Okay,
Because
that's interesting.
remember this, Google knows everything about you, everything.
Every click you've ever made,
Everything.
every site you've ever visited, they've got everything.
And no one knows anything about you, but Google machine knows everything about you. So the narrower your niche, and yours is quite narrow from my understanding of the catering business, the better.
Yeah.
Because Google, I don't know how they'll tell, but those people would have been to sites like insolvency sites. They would have been to banks for loans. And Google puts this all together. And once you've found one or two, you do a thing, a bit technical for the moment, called a G-clit, and you tell Google this was a good customer. And once a week, I tell Google who the good customers are. And Google goes, thanks. And it goes and finds more. And it's not interested anymore in my targeting that I prescribed. I just let Google go and find them.
That's interesting. Okay.
Google knows everything. They started it back. The first one they did was the example that was told to me was mums who have babies. I mean, only mums have babies, but you know what I mean. Because they can tell pregnancy tests happen, and then you start buying all kinds of stuff. And then when the birth happens, the Facebook goes mad and all of that. And now Nestle and GlaxoSmithKline will compete to try and get ads in front of that mum, because if they can get their baby formula into that mum's hands, so they just want the name and address, and they will send a starter pack to that mum for free. Because if the baby formula and the baby's happy and the baby grows, there's no way that mum's going to change. She'll never change. And so Google's built that up, and they've been going now for 20, 25 years. So they've got this whole stream where they know absolutely everything about these people. Everything. It's scary and non-scary because they know too much. Yeah. They can't do anything with it, but they know. And if you're going to have to sit down and figure out, okay, and Stuart teaches that so well, and I skimmed over it the first time. You look at it and you think, okay, somebody in my position, they've got a guest house and no one's allowed to come and you're losing money. Okay, so what did I do? And you can go and look at your search history. I chatted to Vicky, my wife, and you see all the things I was looking at. And that's what you put into your search. And yours is quite specific, which is the advantage of narrowing down your niche.
Yeah. And that's what I was targeting. I wanted to really get to sub niche.
Credit cards would have been overextended. Banks would have been spoken to. Loan people would have been spoken to. Equipment would have been sold at a reduced rate. You know all the things that you did.
administrators, liquidators.
Yes. And if you do that, just your experience, that's what's so powerful about it. You will find exactly these people who have a restaurant in difficulty because you know what they're going through. And then when you talk to them, you'll be able to resonate.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, guys. That's really helpful. Very good.
Went off on
Okay.
one there, but John, sorry.
Yeah. That's all right. It's all right. I'll do the same. I get all excited still.
I get excited when somebody's got something. You know what I mean? Because
No.
you learn the trade by remarketing Modern Wealthy, because I thought that was such a clever plan, because I had to learn about Google, YouTube, Aweber and all these things. But when I get a lead, I just hand it over to Stuart and his team, and there's nothing for me to do. The guest house one was like second year of university, you know, so I had to look at it again and think, okay, what am I going to do and there I had to build my own website, and I had to have my own sections, but I'd learned phase one already. So when my website's ready, you can look at that. It's called Get Seen, Get Booked. It's full of mistakes. I thought anybody who owns a guest house, and it's too broad. And so I'm redoing it, focusing on people with 6 rooms or less, because that's who I resonate with, people who've got a small guest house. I know the people who stay, we chat to them, I cook their dinner. It's so different. As soon as you've got more than 6 rooms, you've got a chef and you've got a cleaner, and maybe the people are doing self-check-in, and it's a different business entirely. But you learn this stuff, and I'm fixing up the first website. I say that,
and that's why I was, when I was thinking about the concept, and I'm thinking about the website itself, I wanted to be, I want to spread the risk, and in terms of, you know, just I didn't want to focus just on the affiliate program, which although if you know, it can be very lucrative, but I wanted to add a little bit more top level in terms of what I could offer as a resource, as value to them, whereby it would allow them to make an informed judgment in their decision-making process. Rather, I believe in soft selling. It's huge for me. That's huge. It's all about empathy, and so it's really bringing them to the website and say, right, here are the set of attributes that, you know, whether you want to buy a book or whether you want to get on a training program outside of LaunchU, whether you want to look at something else in terms of products that because you can affiliate yourself with this brand that I'm creating. Anything that's there that could give them added value, a sense of belonging to a movement, to a cause, because ultimately this is what it's going to be. These people, there's not enough talk about this industry in this country because everyone's forgotten about it. They've just brushed under the carpet.
Sadly, that's what happens to all bad news, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you're right about that, because COVID was an absolute disaster, but no one talks about it anymore.
But now it's the cost of living, and I've talked to people, I've talked to 30, 35 people the last 2 weeks, and they're just on their knees, absolutely. They're just holding on by the skin of their teeth with those businesses, and it's living hell. It's a living hell for them, and it impacts relationships, and it impacts, you know, finances. It impacts all sorts of things that
you make stupid decisions.
And your head is, I mean, I remember when my business went down, my head was completely clogged. I couldn't think. I could not think. And that's the reason why I'm looking to set up the three-step process, the 3 stages that I want to put out before anyone, those people who haven't taken on LaunchU or Modern Wealthy, I want to retarget them to say to them, okay, what is it that you want to do? You know, how do you want to do this? It's not just to leave them because they're sitting on my email list. That's why.
John, I'm just going to have to nip to the gents.
Yeah, that's all right. That's all right. Well, look, we've gone about a quarter of an hour past the top of the hour. We can't be on here all night. There's some food happening inside at the moment. But is there anybody else that wants to come? Well, first of all, Azza, have we dealt with your inquiry? Yeah, good. Okay, cool. All right, good. So is there, if anybody else here is feeling excited, put your hand up. No, is there anybody else here that is that wants to come out? Because we're going to probably start to wind this up presently. So if you've got any more questions, now's the time. Come on out, unmute yourselves, talk to me. Warren, you got your hand up. Yeah,
Yeah,
hi
can you hear
Warren. Yeah, sure can.
Yeah, so for Azure, I lost 75% of my customer base in a 3-year period 20 years ago when remember Y2K, big farce, the gas shortage in 72 in the US, big farce, COVID, no comment, 9/11, everybody stopped buying. I understand that, but work with your customer base, make sure you don't get into trouble legally as well, and find a way to put your name out there or your bio that what you used to be, because that way you won't contact your customers direct, but they will see your name and go, I know that dude. That's that guy from, I wonder what happened to him. There he is. That maybe will help as well. And come see me if you're in Ontario.
That's very kind.
Absolutely. I'll buy you a Canadian beer. It's like 12% alcohol. So
Okay. Anybody? Did Nell Marie? Did you put your hand up again? Did I see a little glimpse of your? No. You're happy, right? Anybody else? Anybody else? Come on. Yeah,
So-
Warren, go on. Go.
can we access the video later?
Oh
Video?
yeah. It's being recorded.
Okay.
So I would imagine probably within 48 hours,
Great.
you'll receive a link to watch the recording. All right.
Okay.
That's
All right.
something that Mitch is in command of.
Okay.
I don't quite know how he does it. I mean, sometimes the recording is available for maybe a couple of weeks. Other times it gets loaded up to YouTube and it's there in perpetuity, you know. So just
Right.
okay.
Excellent.
Aurelio, Gavin, Piet, Patrick, Lisa, want to talk to me at all?
Sorry, I can't find the hand. My hand's disappeared.
Oh,
There it
okay. Okay. Hi, Patrick. Hiya.
I cannot find it here. You know, I just want to say hi to everybody. I had to rush off quickly, trying to cook dinner at the same time before the lights go out. I know some of you don't understand that. Do you know what this load shedding is in South Africa?
Yeah.
6 hours a day, you've got no lights. The whole country in different hours of the day, ridiculous. But anyway, okay. So yes, early retirement, not early retirement. I should be retired already. I've just come through a bit of a toxic relationship, so this has opened doors for me. I just sat back and said, right, you know, what do I do now? And this is basically what I found. I have done network marketing in the past, so as Mitch said, you know, from the old days, we've done cold canvassing, we've picked up phones, we phoned people, you know, we slammed down phones, which you can't do anymore because you'll break it. And, you know, the youngsters haven't learned that. So, yeah, I'm quite excited. Just a quick question. I'm not going to be long. We'll chat more next time. And that is I'm going through the modules, and then it's come up to either, I read about liftoff and about silver and gold, what you call it?
Yeah.
Platinum.
Yeah, with the hold your hand, you know. And unfortunately, with our currency,
Sure.
I cannot go gold.
You don't need a house.
I was a mortgage my house just to pay for that. So for the other people, if I went gold, it would be in our currency 200,000. All right. So if your currency was lower than somebody else, would you pay $200,000 or pounds for it? No, it's a little bit of a shock. That's to us anyway. But coming back to it, did any of you guys start on silver? Is it worth it? Is it going to help me? I'm trying to get there.
I did silver.
Okay.
That's how I started. I've done gold subsequently with a second site, but I started with silver.
And with silver, did you find that they helped you enough to actually build? Again, from the old school, we don't know the Twitters and this and that and building websites. Did you find it helpful?
It's hard because you have to learn some of the tricks, because I think the difference between silver, gold, and platinum is silver is you get some weekly calls. So you'll get a weekly call with Caroline Grubb, you'll get some of the other people, and you go on as a group. And you get extra information you can source and things like that. And that's how I started, because I just couldn't afford gold. And gold's where you get 24 one-on-1 hour sessions, which is brilliant.
Yes.
And then
But did the silver help you through the actual
I just learned
websites?
little tricks, because you're doing things and then you get stuck. So what I used to do is just type my question on a Word document,
Okay.
then cut and paste it. And as soon as the call opens, you drop it in the chat and say your question is in the first 4 or 5, and then it gets answered. And they're very good at answering the questions. They help you, they understand the thing, they'll share your screen if you want to, they'll solve it, and on you go. So
Is that how you managed to build your first website?
yeah, using this.
Okay. That's all I need to
The
know.
reason I did gold on the next one was twofold. One, I had some money.
Sure,
And
big
two,
difference.
it makes a big difference. Two, you get one-on-one training. So you have all your questions, you have a call with Caroline. And then
Okay.
for an hour, it's recorded and she answers everything. And then that keeps you busy for the next week, because you go back to the recording and you watch what she said, you do it, you implement it. That's how I did it anyway. And I just found the silver was really, really good. But as I say, I used the silver to set up my reselling of Modern Wealthy and Launchpad. When it came to wanting to build my own website, there was a whole lot of stuff that none of the discussion groups are all about that. So I had to go and buy additional help.
But you found it quicker than trying to do it yourself.
I couldn't do it myself. I couldn't do this computer stuff
Now
properly.
I'm finding too, because today I had a discovery call, and the youngster was most helpful, I must say, but he started going through, you know, when you get to the launch pad and that sort of thing, there's nothing there to actually show you where to go. You've got to fiddle and carry on yourself and try and find out, you know.
You must just make sure all these calls are recorded. So I'd go on the call, say with Caroline, and record it. I know this sounds stupid, but when you play back, you can click on your thing and you can get it played back. It's slower because they assume knowledge that I didn't have. So that's
you actually recorded the calls that you had with them, is that right?
Yes.
Oh,
They're
okay.
all recorded. They're on silver. They're all recorded, and you just go back to the recording.
Okay, and you can go through it over and over. That makes sense.
You go through it over and over, and when they were doing technical stuff, I had to slow it down, because there's sometimes, these guys they really know what they're doing, and it's like you're going to drive a car, and they say to you, right, select first gear, and I go, okay,
yes.
How do you unlock the car?
Okay.
And which side? It's like it's that wheel thing, yeah. Okay, so I go to the left-hand side of the car, unlock the door, sit down. You know what I mean? That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me about the clutch at this stage. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Now I'd like to try and get something as quick as possible, because I spoke about earning while you're learning. As you know, in our currency, a simple $1,000 will get you somewhere. You know. And the plan,
you go faster for sure.
Yeah, the plan is I was going to UK, but it looks like I've got lots of children, by the way. We'll talk about that sometime. They're all over the world, and the idea is obviously retire comfortably and go see them. And I think
charge the kids tax.
I beg your pardon?
Charge your children tax. You brought them into this life. You
no, payback time.
They don't pay. You know,
I go to them now in the summers, you see, and I'd like to maybe move over to Canada as well.
Just get your kids to pay you a 10% thing, and then that'll build up over time, and then off you go.
You know, much. I'm not going to keep you, John. Nice meeting you. I must get back to my dinner before it burns. And yeah, we'll chat to you next time. Thanks a lot, guys. And everybody else out there, let's see you get to meet you.
It's way too quiet here today.
Yeah. Okay. Should we wind it up, Mitch?
I think I'll take down the recording, and then tomorrow morning I'll send it out to everybody.
Yeah. Let me have a copy so I can send it out to my people. Okay.
I will do that.
Cool. All right. Good.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay. As I'm gonna eat now, but we'll talk. I'll make contacts, and we'll if you want to get together on screen one to one.
That'd be good. That'd be really good, John. Thank you. Thank you for that.
Very good. All right.
Cheers, everybody. Thanks for your time, eh?
Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.